Now, ladies and gentlemen, the best knife and glove combos in Counter-Strike Global Offensive in 2022 for $600 and under. Now, in today's video, we'll be going over 10 different options for budget options under 600 bucks. These can range from $300 bundles, where you get the knife and the pair of gloves, or it could range upwards of a little over $600. And we'll be showcasing the knife and gloves in a little clip. And if you guys do decide to pick up any of these, make sure you check over on our sponsor, Skinport. Now, if you guys are looking to sell or buy items, right now it's not the worst time in the world to do that, considering the summer hype is supposed to be coming this year pretty hard. And with these knives, you can find them up 30% off Steam market prices. And if you guys are interested in checking them out, helps with the channel and myself. Without further ado, let's hop right into the video. So in today's video, we have 10 different options, and they're in no particular order. Some will be ranging from a little over 600 bucks to around $300 for the cheapest pair. And with the first one, that's going to be one of the cheaper options as of right now. And this is the caution tape gloves, well worn, for $225, and the bayonet blue steel for $159. Or you could go with something like the bayonet vanilla for $330. And I feel like this is going to be a higher tier option for this, but these look really, really good with the bayonet vanilla because it looks absolutely beautiful. The catch is it's $330 versus $159, and some people won't even care, especially if you just want the pull-out animation and some gloves that don't look too bad. And I had this loaded actually a little while ago. While I was switching inventories, I had to pick up a knife and a pair of gloves for making some videos, and I decided to do this. And the bayonet blue steel with the caution tape gloves actually looks pretty good. And the caution tape gloves, I wouldn't say are 100% stocks, and neither really are anything's on this list, but it's a decent option for some, and it's a decent entry level. And the second one I think might look really, really cool for people who do like the purple theme inside of CS. And we're going to be talking about the driver gloves Imperial Plaid for $250 in the field testing condition. You can pick up the well-worn ones for a little under $200 if you really keep your eye on the market, and you can get yourself the blue steel, possibly bayonet, which that's $159, or you can get a Ursus Ultraviolet for $130 to $160, depending on the float and range you want that in, and obviously where. I think it looks best with the Ursus Ultraviolet, especially for that price. This would be like a $400 budget, or a little under $400, which is actually very, very good for a knife and glove combo, especially nowadays in Counter-Strike. And the really cool thing about these gloves is, one, I had these gloves actually a long time ago, and the reason I like them so much is because they're very, very cheap for one. They're obtainable for most people, and when you pull out any single gun in the game, it has a purple theme to your gloves, and it really stands out that you have gloves inside CS, and some people might like that, some people might not like that. But I, for one, like that. I like to have my stickers on my weapons, and I like to have my knives and especially gloves stand out. Now, next up is one of actually my favorite setups inside of CS as of right now, and that is the Specialist Gloves Foundation for $240, which really match the Huntsman Tiger Tooth or Bayonet Tiger Tooth for $130. I personally think this actually matches the Huntsman Tiger Tooth the best. The Huntsman Tiger Tooth is only $160, the Bayonet Tiger Tooth $330, but let me tell you, this combo right here is one of the best on this entire list. It's not one I've had before in the past, but it's something I'm actually really looking forward to picking up in the future for a setup. I think it just looks absolutely amazing, and there are some other setups with the Huntsman later on in this video. The Huntsman is a very budget option in CS, one of the greatest budget options probably in Counter-Strike, especially because of the pull-in animation. It's okay, but the blade is absolutely huge, and people really like that. And the Tiger Tooth for the bayonet, it looks really, really cool. People might like it a little more. It's just, for me, the gray on the handle really, really goes and ruins it. Now, next up are the Sports Gloves Amphibiouses for $350 at the minimum buy-in, with a Ursus Slaughter minimal wear or a Ursus Crimson Web for $190. Both these knives are $190, and the gloves are going to be ranging from $298 to around $350, $360, depending on what kind of float you want to get that in. Now, the Ursus Crimson Web and the minimal wear Slaughter I've both had before. I definitely do like the survival knife a little bit more, especially if you're getting something like a Slaughter, because the Crimson Web is always going to have a black blade on every single knife in the game. But the problem with the Slaughter on the Ursus knife is it really throws me off. I'm not a huge fan, one, of the Slaughter that much, and the handle on it just absolutely ruins it. But this is a cool combo you could have in CS. You don't have to get the Crimson Web on the Ursus or the survival knife, but they're both really, really cool on any knife, like an M9, bayonet, but this is once again kind of more of a budget option for a lot of people. Now, another great budget option, kind of like the Specialist Foundations, we're going to be dealing with the Sports Gloves Nox. And if you guys don't know what these are, they're essentially a default look to your gloves, but in my opinion, they look a little better. And if you don't like gloves in CS but want to buy gloves, this is the perfect option for you. They're $250 for looking pretty good, and you can pick yourself up a Huntsman Black Laminate in the battle scarred condition for $170 to $190 US. And this look is absolutely amazing. I think the whole completely black look looks really, really good. I think there's a few people on YouTube that use this quite a bit in the pro scene. And if you want a really budget option, kind of very similar to the Specialist Gloves Foundation, these are both two really amazing options in my personal opinion. This, I think, is probably the standout one for a lot of people if you like that default look. Now, next up on our list is the Sports Gloves Omega for $350 with a bayonet tiger tooth or a flip knife lure for $200. The bayonet tiger tooth obviously being $330, the flip knife being $200. These look absolutely amazing. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of the Omega look, but they are all right. I think you're definitely going to go, for a lot of people anyway, are going to probably choose the flip knife if you're going to go for this knife and glove combo. Let me know what you guys think of these so far. What is your favorite one, and will you be picking up any of these for the future? And if you are, let me know. Love to hear. Now, a combo I never really saw that in the game ever in CS, and a pair of gloves I never really see, are the Moto gloves, and specifically the Moto gloves Smoke Out to be exact, for $220 US right now, and the Survival Knife Vanilla for $140 US right now. These two look absolutely amazing. They're kind of like the sports gloves Nox. The just look kind of like a default look, and they look really, really clean, and I really, really enjoy the look of these. And it's actually a combo I think I'll be picking up in the future very well next to the Specialist Gloves Foundation and the Huntsman Tiger Tooth. I think these look really, really cool, and they're great budget options inside of CS. Now, speaking of Moto gloves, we're going up next once again with Moto gloves, and those are the Blood Pressure for $186. These are very, very cheap for some pretty good looking gloves with a lot of detail, and you can get yourself a Ursus Crimson Web for $190. Now, like I said earlier, the Ursus knife is really cool. I think for some people they will like a lot more than the survival knife or one of the newer knives inside CS because of the blade. It looks a lot bigger, but the cool thing about the Crimson Web is it usually has a black blade on every single knife in the game, and this is one of them. And this looks really, really good with the black and red on the gloves and then the black and red on the knife. Obviously, with $190, you can actually afford a very good Crimson Web on the Ursus, which is going to be in the minimal wear condition, which is going to be pretty good. Now, second and last up on this list is something I like to call the shitter loadout inside CS, and this is specifically going to be because it's very cheap and it looks like a pile of crap. This is going to be the Leather Hand Wraps Battle Scarred for $90 US and a rust coat knife, specifically the bayonet, because it's only $140, and this would only cost you a little over $200 for this setup. And I think it would look pretty good for some people, especially if they just want, you know, a knife and a pair of gloves that aren't the greatest, but they have them at least. This is definitely the way to go for some, especially if you just want that pull-out animation. And for $140 for a knife and $90 for a pair of gloves, it's not that bad, I have to say. Now, last up on our list is something I've had before, and a lot of these setups I've had before, especially the sports gloves and the specialist gloves. And this is something I actually think I might be picking up once again, are the specialist gloves Fade for $330 and the Ursus or survival knife Fade for $330 for the Ursus, and then $305 for the survival knife because it's a little less popular than the Ursus. And these two go together so good. But the problem with the specialist gloves, in my personal opinion, in this situation, is if you want a very good looking pair of specialist gloves, you are going to be getting that in the field testing condition, but you are going to want to up the float if you can find a better pair for just a little bit more of a price, but that would obviously not fit inside the budget. And this, especially if you get the Ursus, obviously, which is, I suggested this on this list, you'd be going over the budget of like, I think it's $30. So not that big of a deal, but I do think it would be worth it for some to pick up the Ursus. But the survival, in my opinion, looks really, really cool as well, and even has a putter pull-out animation in my personal opinion. So overall, let me know what you guys thought of this little knife and glove combo budget. Obviously, you can go cheaper inside CS for knife and gloves. I know there's the Broken Fang gloves, and there's some other hand wraps you can get inside CS with some other options for a lot of people, which I will be doing once again, probably in the next video, because I think this budget's going to fit some people, but this one's going to cost a little bit more. And I get that not everyone can afford a pair of gloves and a knife for $600. And then at the very end of the series, let me know what you guys think if I should compile all the videos together, not me talking, but just compiling them all into one and making them one big video at the end of the series. If that ever does happen, where we go through all the knife and glove combos inside CS, which I don't know if that would happen, but maybe at the end of the year or something, run into a roadblock, we make that. Hopefully you have a great day. Stay positive, stay sexy. If you guys haven't checked out my Twitter, it's in the link down in the description below. Check out Skinport and today's video sponsor. Grab it if you are new. Leave a like. Peace out, guys. Stay positive, stay sexy.